What if the secret to a leaner, sharper, and more energized body was actually eating less often? Most people have been told their entire lives that eating more frequently is the healthiest possible approach. But what if that advice, repeated by nutritionists and cereal brands for decades, was completely and utterly wrong? What if your body was secretly designed to thrive not on 6 meals, but on just one? This is not a trend born from social media algorithms or some influencer trying to sell you supplements. This is ancient biology written into your DNA long before breakfast was ever considered the most important meal. Your ancestors did not wake up to scrambled eggs, a protein shake, and a carefully portioned mid-morning snack. They woke up hungry, they hunted, they sometimes failed, and they survived on nothing for an entire day. And yet they were lean, sharp, fast, and mentally focused enough to track prey across miles of wilderness. So why does your body collapse without a snack every 2 hours if humans were built for fasting? The answer reveals something extraordinary about your biology that most modern diet culture has completely ignored for decades. Welcome to the world of OMAD, 1 meal a day, and what it genuinely does to your body. Before you call this extreme, understand that extreme is eating processed foods 7 times a day and calling it healthy. Every single time you put food into your mouth, your body releases a hormone called insulin into your bloodstream. Insulin is your body's storage manager, and its one job is to take that energy and lock it away. When insulin is high, your body cannot burn fat because the fat-burning door is completely and totally locked shut. Now imagine spiking that hormone 5, 6, or even 7 times a day with every meal and snack. Your body spends the entire day in storage mode, never getting the signal that it is safe to burn. Fat sits untouched in your cells while you keep adding more, wondering why the scale refuses to move. But when you eat just once, insulin spikes once, drops completely, and stays low for the next 23 hours. Those 23 hours become something remarkable, a long, uninterrupted window where your body finally gets permission to burn fat. This is not a loophole or a hack. It is simply how your metabolic system was always meant to function. Around 12 to 16 hours after your last meal, something extraordinary begins happening deep inside every cell of your body. Your glucose reserves, the quick-burning sugar fuel your body prefers when food is available, begin running dangerously low. Your body faces a choice. It can either panic and break down muscle, or it can open the fat vault. And here is where evolution shows its true genius, because your body chooses the fat vault every single time. Your liver begins converting stored fat into molecules called ketones, a cleaner and more efficient fuel than sugar ever was. These ketones travel through your bloodstream and cross directly into your brain, lighting it up like a freshly cleaned engine. People who reach this state describe a feeling that is almost impossible to explain until you have actually experienced it. The mental fog that has been sitting over your thoughts like a damp blanket suddenly and completely lifts away. Focus sharpens, ideas come faster, and tasks that felt heavy in the morning suddenly feel effortless and even enjoyable. This is not motivation, this is not willpower, this is your brain running on the fuel it was designed for. Ketones burn clean. They produce less inflammation, less oxidative stress, and leave your neurons functioning at a genuinely higher level. Your brain on ketones is like switching from a flickering fluorescent light to a crisp and perfectly bright LED light. Now think about David, a 35-year-old teacher who had tried every diet and failed every single time before.
David was not eating salads or avoiding carbs. He was eating pizza, burgers, pasta, and hot dogs almost every single night. He did not change what he ate. He did not count a single calorie or step foot in any gym. He simply moved all of his eating into 1 single hour each day and fasted for the remaining 23. 6 months later, David had lost 45 pounds, his cholesterol had dropped, and his energy was completely transformed beyond recognition. His skin cleared up, his sleep deepened, and he stopped crashing every afternoon like a phone running on 2% battery. David did not find discipline, he found strategy, and strategy will always beat willpower in a long-term battle every time, because willpower is a muscle that gets tired, but understanding how your biology works is a switch that stays permanently on. What David discovered was that hunger itself is not what you think it is. Hunger is largely a hormonal habit. There is a hormone in your body called ghrelin, and ghrelin is the reason your stomach growls at 7 in the morning. But ghrelin does not growl because you are starving. It growls because your body has been trained to expect food then. If you have been eating breakfast at 7 for 20 years, ghrelin will fire at 7 whether you need food or not. It is a conditioned signal, like a dog that salivates at the sound of a bell, even with no food present. This means that the hunger you feel during your first week of OMAD is not a sign of danger at all. It's just your hormonal schedule throwing a tantrum because you changed the routine it has followed for years and years. But here's what most people never stay long enough to discover, because they quit in that uncomfortable first week entirely. Between 10 and 14 days into OMAD, your ghrelin levels begin to restructure themselves around your new eating pattern completely. The morning alarm goes quiet, the mid-afternoon cravings soften, and eventually, many people report simply forgetting to feel hungry entirely. Not because they're suppressing anything, but because their body has switched to burning fat so efficiently it no longer needs reminding. You stop thinking about food constantly, not through discipline, but because your hunger hormones have finally recalibrated to match your rhythm. Meanwhile, something else is happening that goes far beyond weight loss and fat burning and mental clarity combined. Deep inside your cells, after about 16 or more hours of fasting, a process begins that scientists call autophagy. Autophagy literally means self-eating in Greek, but do not let that word frighten you because it's actually extraordinarily beautiful. Your body begins identifying old, damaged, and dysfunctional cellular components that are no longer serving any useful purpose whatsoever. It breaks them down, strips them for parts, and uses those recycled materials to build newer and healthier cellular structures. Think of it as your body running an internal renovation project while you're busy living your life above the surface. Inflammation decreases, aging slows at the cellular level, and your immune system gains a sharper and more precise defensive edge. This is not wellness mythology or something invented by a blogger trying to sell you a course about longevity. In 2016, Japanese scientist Yoshinori Ohsumi was awarded the Nobel Prize in Physiology specifically for discovering and proving autophagy exists. Your body has a built-in repair mechanism that activates only when you stop eating long enough to let it run. Every fasting hour is not deprivation, it's your body seizing a window to heal what daily eating constantly interrupts. And beyond the cellular repair, beyond the fat burning, beyond the mental clarity, OMAD does something unexpected to your daily life. When you only eat once, you suddenly have a shocking amount of time, energy, and mental space returned directly to you.
Think about how much of your day revolves around food, planning it, preparing it, eating it, and cleaning everything afterward. 3 meals a day multiplied across 7 days means 21 separate cooking and cleaning sessions dominating your entire weekly schedule. OMAD reduces that to 7, and suddenly you have reclaimed hours that were silently disappearing into your kitchen every single week. Researchers estimate that people practicing OMAD recover between 10 and 15 hours per week previously consumed by food-related tasks entirely. That is nearly 60 hours per month, enough to learn something new, rest more deeply, or simply breathe without rushing. Your grocery bills shrink, your food waste drops, and the constant background noise of what should I eat next goes quiet. There's a mental freedom in that silence that people who have never experienced OMAD genuinely cannot understand from the outside. You stop being controlled by hunger, you stop planning your day around meals, and food returns to being something you enjoy. Now, because this script would be incomplete without honesty, there are real risks and real challenges that deserve your full attention. Squeezing your entire day's nutrition into a single meal is not simple, and doing it carelessly will absolutely cost you something.
If that one meal is nutritionally poor, your body will spend 23 hours running on an empty and deficient tank. You need adequate protein to protect your muscle tissue, enough fiber to support digestion, and sufficient micronutrients to run every system. A donut and a soda at 7 in the evening is technically one meal, but it is also a biological disaster. OMAD rewards those who eat with intention and punishes those who treat the eating window as a free-for-all junk session. Digestive discomfort is also real. Eating a very large volume of food in one sitting can cause bloating, reflux, and nausea. Your digestive system is not a compactor. It has limits, and overwhelming it with too much volume defeats the entire purpose. For anyone with a history of eating disorders, OMAD needs to be approached with extreme caution and proper professional medical guidance. The strict eating window can sometimes trigger guilt or anxiety in people who have a complicated relationship with food and restriction. Pregnant women, children, elderly individuals, and those managing serious chronic conditions should not attempt OMAD without direct supervision from a physician. This is a powerful tool, but powerful tools can cause serious harm when placed in the wrong hands or wrong context. There is also the social dimension of OMAD that rarely gets discussed, but that trips up many people in real practice. Food is not just fuel, it is culture, it is connection, it is how humans have bonded with each other forever. Declining birthday cake, skipping team lunches, or sitting quietly at a family dinner while everyone else eats feels isolating over time. But OMAD does not require military rigidity. It is a strategy, not a sentence, and it can breathe and flex with you. If a celebration falls on your fasting window, shift your meal window for that day and return to rhythm tomorrow. Eating in a 4 to 6 hour window rather than a strict 1 hour still delivers most of the metabolic benefits. Some people practice what is called social OMAD, alternating their meal timing based on their weekly social and family calendar naturally. The goal is not perfection, the goal is sustainability, because a strategy abandoned in week 3 helps absolutely no one long term. What OMAD ultimately teaches you is something no diet book has ever truly been able to teach you before this. It teaches you that hunger is not an emergency, that your body is not fragile, and that food is not the enemy. It teaches you that your biology is remarkably intelligent and that it only needs you to stop interrupting it so constantly.
When you eat once, your insulin rests, your fat burns, your brain sharpens, your cells repair, and your schedule opens wide. You stop chasing food, you stop fearing hunger, and you start experiencing what it actually feels like to be metabolically free. This is not about eating less because you hate yourself or because some algorithm told you thinness equals worth or value. This is about eating strategically because you respect your body enough to learn how it actually functions at its deepest level. Your ancestors did not count macros or obsess over meal timing apps. They simply ate when food existed and fasted when it did not. And from that rhythm came bodies that were lean, minds that were sharp, and a species resilient enough to survive everything. You are not going back to hunting deer, but you are going back to something your biology has never forgotten at all. The question is not whether OMAD works. The science, the history, and thousands of real human stories confirm that it absolutely does. The real question is whether you are ready to challenge the noise, trust your biology, and give your body the silence it deserves. Start slow. Be intentional with your meal. Listen to how your body responds, and give the process at least 2 full weeks. Because the first week is your hormones complaining, and the second week is your body beginning to remember what it always knew. And what it always knew is this: you were never meant to be chained to a meal every 2 hours forever. You were built for something far more powerful, far more efficient, and far more freeing than a schedule built around constant eating. So the next time hunger whispers, pause before you reach for a snack, because that whisper might just be your evolution calling.